Yo, what is going on, everyone? It's me, Marcus, here, and we got to talk about this breaking story. But before we do, I got to do some ghetto stuff because we're going to be on here. So stand by one more. All right, my bad. I'm back. I had to go take care of something real quick. But yeah, this is interesting day because we're gonna talk about. It's funny. Somebody just left a comment on one of my videos about Diddy because I did the mashup this past weekend of all the stories from the week, and one of them was about Diddy and that $100 million that he was ordered to pay by the court. And somebody was like, "Hey, I'm here for the Diddy update," and now here we find ourselves with another Diddy update. What is going on, Common Sense? Hey, I appreciate you tuning in and the support as always in the first comment of the day. Now we're gonna take a look at it, but before we even, because I'm be honest, like I literally just got a text. I'm gonna actually read it because I know y'all. I was in here. I had a video that I was gonna put out tomorrow. This is it's kind of funny. It's an old throwback with a new twist on it. And I got a text message at 10:17 of one of my boys telling me that Diddy got arrested, and I was like, "Oh man, he got arrested." So I haven't seen anything, I haven't read anything outside of that text messages that I got. I don't know, a half an hour ago. So we're gonna tune in, but let's just start out. Let's just be realistic. I think that everybody in there, Stevie Wonder saw this coming. Everybody knew that there was going to be an indictment at some point. It was ultimately inevitable. And I remember I did a video and everybody came for me and gave me a lot of flack because I think I said something where like I've signed off on a bunch of search warrants. Somebody even in the comments was like, "How'd you sign off on a search warrant? Because you're a judge." I signed off on the execution of search warrant. The judge just signs off on the okay, you have enough evidence to do a search warrant. But the tactical stuff, that's where a whole bunch of like 50 people, not 50, maybe three or four people actually got to sign off to execute it. But people came for me in the comments, was like, "You're not a judge. You can't sign off on a search warrant." All of this crazy stuff. And I was like, come on now. Like, I just found it funny. The indictment is sealed and the charges were not announced, but the person familiar with the prosecution said they believe Mr. Combs was being charged with racketeering and sex trafficking. I know for a fact it's definitely sex trafficking just because Homeland Security were the ones who actually effectuated the arrest. I'm assuming. I believe it was because they were the ones who went through his house. So the fact that Homeland Security was involved, it leads everyone to believe if they went through your house, they probably gonna be the people who picked you up because it's probably associated with the same investigation that they went to the house for. But let's just pull up the article that TMZ got so we can see what's going on. And eventually it's going to be unsealed. And when it's unsealed, of course, let me see. Does that make him eligible for RICO too? Chances are there's a strong possibility because the the more how could I put this? The more means that a person has, the more access that they have, the more likely that their criminal activities will put them in the scope of potentially getting a RICO charge. Because at that level, when you talk about Diddy was a billionaire. I don't think he's a billionaire no more. We losing our black billionaires left and right. We just got like Oprah, LeBron, Michael Jordan. Like literally, Kanye got kicked off the list when he blew the Adidas bag. Diddy fell off the list once all these charges came into fruition. Like just self-inflicted wounds. But chances are he does have some exposure for uh, a RICO prosecution because he has means, he has influence, and the type of crimes that it it costs a lot of money to facilitate a crime, especially when you're important. Okay. And that's kind of the downside because, generally, if you commit a crime, the less people to know, the better. But when you got a lot of resources, you tend to not want to do things. So you use your money to actually, uh, uh, solicit and get people to engage in criminal activities, which increases your potential RICO exposure. Let's see. Is he still in custody? If so, do you think we will be held without a condition of release? I'm gonna just keep it honest, like, and that's a good point. Let me get back to that question. Let me pull up the article real quick that I got. It's probably nothing more than what you've already seen, but I want to go and pull it up anyway because I didn't read it. So let's see. Diddy arrested in New York City after grand jury indictment. Diddy was arrested in New York on Monday night, September 16th, after being indicted by a grand jury on unknown charges, Billboard has confirmed. In a statement sent to Billboard, Mark Angelo, attorney for Diddy, real name Sean Coe, said, "We are disappointed with the decision to pursue what we believe is an unjust prosecution of Mr. Combs." I think Mr. Combs is going to be fucked. Pardon my language. Even though, hey, innocent until proven guilty, but I'm gonna tell you why I think he's screwed by the U.S. Attorney's Office. Sean Diddy Combs is a music icon, self-made entrepreneur, loving family man, and proven philanthropist who has spent the last 30 years building an empire, adoring his children, and working to uplift the Black community. He is an imperfect person, but he is not a criminal. To his credit, Mr. Combs has been nothing but cooperative with the investigation. He voluntarily relocated to New York last week in anticipation of these charges. Please reserve your judgment until you have all the facts. These are the facts of an innocent man with nothing to hide, and he looks forward to clearing his name in court. The rap mogul has been hit with at least 8 civil lawsuits alleging blah, blah, blah. Cassidy, most recent lawsuit was from Danity Kane, who filed the complaint. Don Richard from Danity Kane filed a complaint last week saying abuse, exploitation, blah, blah, blah. All right, we're not going to go too deep into all that because, as soon as you say a certain word, they're going to be like, all right, all right, no more monetization on this video. But let me see. Does that make him eligible? All right, we covered that one. Is he still in custody? If so, do you think he would be held without conditions of release? Hey, y'all in the chat, y'all let me know. Literally, that's the first article I read. So I'm literally finding this out. I just got a text message. I'm finding this out as we go along. What I will tell you, bail is funny because with bail legally, if you look at precedent just set by the courts, the only point of bail is to secure defendant's presence at court. So presumably, with that as the fundamental reason that you have bail, presumably it shouldn't make a difference who I am, what access and resources I had to leave, and what my charges are. Generally, how bail should work is, or how it's supposed to work is, hey, you DFD, I could have had 5 prior charges. No matter what those charges were, I always go to court. I never had a failure to appear. Nobody ever had to come looking for me. If I always show up to court, according to the letter of the law, your bail should solely be set based on the likelihood that you're going to appear in court. And if I don't have a track record of getting ghost in court, I should presumably have no bail, but that's not how it works. That's how it says the courts have articulated bail to be, but that's not true because you got judges who are appointed, you got state judges who are elected, federal judges who are appointed by Congress. You have all of these things, and nobody wants to be in custody for allowing some goofy shit to happen. So let's say if it was a state judge with a domestic violence charge, and this guy had previous charges of theft or whatever, writing bad checks and a DUI, and he always showed the court on time. In that instance, if it's domestic violence, he shouldn't have a bond. But an elected state judge is going to be like, look, what if this guy get out and he commit an atrocity on the alleged victim in this domestic dispute? I'm not going to be the person with my name on it. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put a bond on this guy. the same thing with drug dealers when they have charges. Like, hey, if it's their first time in court, generally bond is secure the president or the defendant, but the court is going to be like, yo, I'm not about to put my name if this guy get off and try to kill a bunch of witnesses or do some crazy shit. So if it's a drug dealer, we're going to put a secured cash bond on, and then we're going to apply the source of funds rule. So if you do make that bond of $200,000, which is a cash bond, so you can't get a percentage, before we even accept that bond, you have to prove that that bond didn't come from any illegal activities. So chances are, if I were a judge, I'm putting a bond on them, um, for a few reasons. Because I'm just be honest, Diddy has the resources to get Ghost, and you never see him again. He'd be over in Bali chilling with Russell Simmons. So, I mean, which is a big possibility. It's a thing I talked about this in videos before. It's called liquidate and relocate. If I'm in trouble, I don't got the privilege to. Mm, I don't know. I don't think I got the. I don't think I. I don't think I reached the level where I had the financial means right now to liquidate and relocate. But that's somebody who got a bag like Diddy. Hey, it's not is hey. Russell Simmons pulled it off when he got a little hot. The pressure got a little hot around Russ. What did he do? He liquidated all of his assets. He relocated somewhere far as hell. So let's see. I mean, why are they using RICO? Because it's an easy charge to get. And I'm gonna tell you when I knew he was screwed. I knew he I knew he was screwed when the young lady, it was a young lady who filed a lawsuit, and she said that she was, I don't know, she was under the age of 18, and she said that like Diddy flew her out from state A to state B, and she talked about all this crazy stuff that happened. I'm gonna keep it general terms for YouTube purposes. And she had a photograph of her at this vulnerable age, like sitting in the studio with Diddy sitting on his lap. And I was like, soon as I saw that civil lawsuit, I saw that picture. My first words, this was before they ran up in his crib. I was like, oh man, this dude better be careful. He about to catch a human trafficking charge. And sure enough, this is what it looks like because let me see. I want to see if I can find another article that talks about, okay, this article says it's Homeland Security. Let me read the statute. Trafficking in commercial sex, it is unlawful for an individual or business to recruit, entice, harbor, transport, provide, obtain, or maintain by any means a person knowing or in reckless disregard of the fact one, coercion will be used or is being used to cause the person to provide labor or services to engage in commercial acts. The person is being placed or will be placed, kept in a debt bondage. And the statute we got here is 18 U.S. Code 2422. All right, I'm gonna pull that up real quick. Let me pull it up so I can give y'all the verbatim of this statute that we got going on here. But yeah, this dude's screwed royally, and I'm gonna tell y'all why I think so. But hey, innocent till proven guilty, all allegations, but I don't know. And when there's smoke, sometimes there's fire. Again, I got the statute up. Whosoever knowingly persuades, induces, entices, or coerces any individual to travel in interstate or foreign commerce or in any territory or possession of the United States to engage in prostitution or any activity for which any person can be charged with a criminal offense or attempts to do so shall be fined under this title or imprisoned not to more than 20 years or both. You get 20 years per charge for a trafficking charge. That's wow. Yeah, this is gonna be wild. Like this is a trial that I actually might tune into because he ain't got no choice but to go to trial. He's not gonna take a plea. What you gonna take a plea to one trafficking charge and get 20 years maxed out? That'll be crazy work. So he's gonna have to go to trial. Whoever using by mail or facility, blah blah blah. We don't even need to read that second part. But that's the statute that's essentially at play here. Let me see. But yeah, the reason they're using that statute is because it's just an easy statute to get, and RICO is an easy statute to charge. You don't see like it's very rarely. it's very rare that you see like a broke ass person charged with RICO because you ain't got enough money and resources. you, a broke criminal don't got enough money and resources to kind of be in that RICO standpoint. You got to have a lot of resources and pool and you got to have a lot of, I guess, underlings for really the RICO to stick. So that's why you see it. You most times if a person has a lot of resources, chances are you're gonna be on the RICO side of the game. Well, the fact feds actively arrested him, and we know the feds are not bothering unless they can keep their high conviction record. I was just complaining about that today. I was just complaining about the U.S. Attorney's Office and their reluctance to take things that are fucking gift wrap. But that's a whole nother story for a whole nother discussion. Let me see. No bail released in New York. I'm not sure. I'm gonna be honest with you. I've never had a federal. I had a no. I haven't had a federal case that was in New York City. I went all over, but not in New York City. Generally, the generally the federal bail rules are the same. More likely than that, capital crimes that are like your guns, homicide. Nobody gonna put nobody letting those people out just as quiet as it kept. It just wouldn't make any sense. I would probably put a bond on him, and why would I put a bond on him? One, because of the nature of the charges. I'm assuming it's going to be again racketeering, trafficking, probably because Homeland Security is involved. So one, because of the nature of the charges. Two, because of the profile of the individual. But more importantly, three is because of his means. This dude actually has the means to get Ghost, and nobody ever fucking find him. So in light of that, I would put strict conditions on his bond. It would probably be a high ass bond. It would probably be a cash bond. And even if he makes that bond, he's probably going to be confined to his house with all sorts of uh, pre-trial conditions to include some type of supervision, to include some type of ankle monitoring, calling, all of that shit. So that's probably going to be the case. Yeah. And why is everyone being indicted in New York and California? Um, I'm gonna be honest. I wouldn't. I I had a case in a lot of terrible places, but I would never want to indict a federal case in California. The judges there are too loosey goofy. They too goofy for me. They're a little bit too inconsistent. So if I had a case as a federal prosecutor and I'm bringing a charge in California, is expressly because that's the venue that I'm limited to. If I had any other option to forum shop and find another forum where I can bring the charge, I would probably do so. And California is one. New York. It's going to happen in New York because one, a lot of the offenses have alleged to have occurred in New York. I'm assuming. I don't think he was flying them out to Miami. Maybe you never know, but a lot of the offenses are presumably going to have been alleged to have occurred in New York. I think everything that we've seen thus far from all the civil lawsuits is always New York, New York, New York. So that's where the offense likely have occurred and took place. Two, I'm assuming, I don't know for a fact, but I'm assuming that Diddy is a resident of New York. I'm assuming his actual domicile, although he probably had several, is actually in New York. So it actually makes it a lot easier. And I think three, the Southern District of New York is just where all the big shit happens. That's where all the bigger cases happen. And why do all the big cases happen in New York? Because all the important people who have resources and money are in New York. All of the old mafia capo uh, cases back in the day, back when Rudy Giuliani was beating people over the head as an AUSA in the Southern District of New York. Trump's trial, New York. A lot of people of means have residence in New York. That's why you see those charges come up in New York so damn often. Yep. Shout out for everybody in the chat. Hey, I appreciate you, sis, for giving everybody. Hey, y'all make sure y'all hit the like button. But we just gonna talk through this. I think I seen another article that popped up that said it was supposed to. Let me see, because I was just going through some. Each, it's funny. Each media outlet says something different. This is the one I was talking about right here. On December 6th, this is the one where I knew he had human trafficking exposure off the break. But I see one article here says the actual arrest was supposed to occur tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow, but something happened that made them uh, move up the deadline. I'm gonna be honest. If normally in these situations, you do give persons notice of an arrest. It's not uncommon. Like, hey, you give persons notice of search warrants depending on the charges, the allegations, who it is. So if it's an arrest, normally you reach out, you like, hey, bro, when you want to come in, we're gonna do this on this day. You kind of set everything up. So I found that odd that if it was planned for tomorrow, but they upped it to this day, I would only do that if I had some inclination that something was going to make my defendant unavailable. And I've seen that before. I've had cases where I was like, I've had cases, it was one case early on where there was an anticipation of a search warrant being done. And the next thing I know, like I got word from agents like, hey, they got big industrial trucks out there and shredding a bunch of shit. And I was like, oh man, we got to get there ASAP. So it's quite plausible some type of notice or a heads up, even if it's not a direct heads up, people are going to try to make an effort to either destroy evidence, flee the scene. So I'm assuming, according to that article I just saw, if it was supposed to go down tomorrow, but they moved it up to today, the only way I would do that is me personally. If there was some expectation that my defendant, my target, was going to be unavailable, then I'm like, nah, we're gonna go pick this dude up now. And it was weird because the article also said that it said that he was aware of this and he relocated to New York to in anticipation of this indictment. There was agreed upon date that was supposed to be the 17th, but for some reason they moved it up. So they might have gotten some word that, hey, this dude might be about to pop smoke. That's what you call it in the military, pop smoke. You throw smoke down and nobody can see it, and you get the hell out of there. So they must have got some word that this guy was about to pop smoke or something. You good? All right. Let me see. Let's see. Finger crossed. Vengeance. Yeah. I mean, this dude is he's fucked. Pardon my language. Let me tell y'all why. It's one. When you have a track record of recording recording illegal activities, chances are those recordings are going to screw you in the end. And from what we can gather, and this is just from what we've read from all the cases, it appears that Mr. Combs liked to record for a few situations. Okay. The first one is just why the first one is just a common thing that criminals do, even if it's a homicide, if it's a arsonist. People like to relive crimes that they've committed, that they've gotten away with. It kind of gives them a dopamine rush. So one reason why most criminals like to memorialize things, or they'll do their crimes in the same way, the same pattern, excuse me, is because they're trying to relive those first instances, or they like to have the videos as some sort of trophy so they can watch and relive it. That's point number one. But point number two, what we've heard, and these are allegations, but point number two is kind of the J. Edgar Hoover approach. And what is the J. Edgar Hoover approach? You keep surveillance of persons in compromised positions to be able to use it as leverage later on down the road. So one, if not two of those things could potentially be true. And when you have recordings, audio, footage, you're screwed. So soon as they went into his home to do a search warrant, I was like, oh, this guy's going to be screwed because this isn't 1972 this isn't the 70s, the 60s where you go in with a search warrant and you come out with a bunch of boxes and documents. If you have your compound just covered from head to toe in cameras, You're probably going to have a hard drive that has this stuff on it. You're probably going to have storage place space in the cloud that has this stuff on it. You may have an off-site hard drive that stores this information just in case your house burns down. You still are able to pull this information out. I mean, people get real meticulous, but when you store and have all of your information in a digital format, it just opens the door to exposure. Yeah. Okay, he was released after posting bail. Post that link in the comments so we can go check that out. Earlier this evening, federal agents arrested Sean Combs based on a sealed indicted information. I'm sorry, my daughter out here. I'm looking at her out here rolling around with this dog. It's going to be interesting because I can't wait till they unseal that indictment. By the Southern District of New York, we expect to move to unseal the indictment in the morning, and we'll have more to say at that time. Okay, that's gonna be interesting. When they unseal it, as soon as they unseal it, I'm gonna go ahead and log on to that attorney account that I got, and we're gonna go through that indictment and take a look. Is bond the same as bail? Asking from Australia. Yeah, bond, bail, same thing, used interchangeably. Normally as a percentage. If he got released, that's I mean, one, he has resources, and two, I mean, I don't know the level of Diddy's exposure in criminal court. I know the one charge he had that was really serious. Sean ate that one. So, hey, shout out to Sean for turning to a rapper, to a convicted felon, to a politician. Shout out to him. But the one serious charge I know he had, I know he beat those charges like Rocky, and Sean ended up eating that one. But that's a whole nother story. Yeah. Bond, or they have a parent sign off and they can be arrested if something goes wrong with the person arrested. Yeah, bond is not going to be an issue for him though because he's a billionaire. So whatever the money is, he can pull it out. He can whatever the money is, he can have that money even if it's a cash bond. He can muster that up. So yeah, federal RICO allows a minimum of 20 years in acquisition of the asset for the feds to resell after clear evidence. Also, they can hold the assets indefinitely if they think it's integral. Let's see. What about conspiracy? Mm, conspiracy is always a charge that's out there. All it requires is multiple persons to conspire to commit a crime, and they take a substantial step in the furtherance of. So let me pull this article up real quick because this article highlights when I knew that this dude. When I saw this, I said, "Oh, he's gonna be facing a human trafficking charge." Let me see if I could pull that up real quick. If we could see this. All right, it says on December 6th, one woman claimed that the rapper and his longtime collaborator, Harv Pierre, who is always in the lawsuits too, and a third unidentified man trafficked and sexually assaulted her when she was 17 in 2003, per documents obtained by People. Uh, Later that day, he denied the allegations. But that was the young lady who actually had the photograph of her in Diddy's studio, just kind of sitting in Diddy's lap. So, that was when I was like, oh man, this guy's definitely got some exposure for trafficking. And in that instance, just in that fact pattern right there that we heard, it was alleged that he flew this girl out from one state to another state, him and Harv Pierre. Just on those allegations, you could potentially have an easy case for conspiracy to commit trafficking. Because think about it. This is always an argument we have. I've been in these arguments as I'm working through facts and we're thinking about how to charge it. If let's say those allegations we just read were true. Let's say it's just an example, all allegations, but let's say Diddy flew this young lady out from state A to state B, which is New York, him and Harv Pierre, and all of these crimes occurred once she got to New York. Now, I don't think, and there were some enticements there. They flew her out, maybe they gave her some money. I think with the definition of trafficking that we read, those facts would easily meet the element requirements for him to be charged with trafficking, right? But If I commit a bank robbery and go through with the bank robbery, don't I inherently also have a charge of conspiracy to commit bank robbery? Because the conspiracy occurs in the planning stage, and then we had an act in the furtherance of where we went out and got supplies and scouted the place and looked at the schematics and did all of that stuff. All of that is a conspiracy, and we compartmentalize that over here. Then we actually go through with the bank robbery. So it depends on the prosecutors. Some prosecutors, if they got the elements to meet the crime, in that example, the actual robbery it went through, they won't charge the conspiracy. But I have seen some prosecutors in some jurisdictions, they'll say, no, we're going to charge with the robbery. We're going to charge with the conspiracy to commit robbery and the planning stages, and we're just going to stack it up. So, and I don't think option B is wrong. I think you have the elements to actually do it. Yeah, yeah. Use an investigation to sway continual profit of alleged guilty party. Why RICO is important for its power it gives authorities. Yeah, and it's just, I mean, we see Young Thug going through the longest RICO trial I ever seen in my life, and I actually think he probably going to beat that one. Yeah. It's all good. It's all good. I appreciate you for tuning in. Yeah. All these celebrities that sold their soul in the early 90s for fame didn't think 30 years would come around this fast, and now it's time to pay the piper. I agree with that completely. We just see so many celebrities crash and burn. And inherently, if you're generally a bad person doing bad things, you don't think that that's going to come into fruition at some point. I mean, even if, just think about it, if let's say accusations are were true, and Diddy uses surveillance of people in compromising positions as some sort of leverage to be able to control people and also to give himself some insulation, he don't think that somebody would do that to him. You learn the game from somebody, right? Like, you aren't the first person to have this bright ass idea. And the minute you step on the wrong toes, or like, you know what, this dude is too wild. Let's go ahead and we're gonna cut him off at the source. So yeah, everybody is crashing and burning. And it's actually it's terrible to see people who worked hard crash and burn, but it's well deserved if they're found to be guilty because it's a self-inflicted wound. You brought it on yourself by your conduct. So I don't really give a damn. I will tell you though, just from a hip hop standpoint, I don't know if we can cancel Diddy from music. Okay, like, hey, y'all can say what y'all want, but y'all ain't really cancel R. Kelly. Some of y'all cancel R. Kelly in public, but behind closed doors, if Ignition came on your playlist in the car with the windows up, you're gonna be in there singing along. So I don't know if I Diddy canceling him and his contribution to music is so big. I think I think he's uncancelable if that's a thing. I think his thumbprint on music from 94 through shit the 2010s, mid 2010s is just so deep. It'll be hard to, really kind of try to cancel him. Bond in Australia is called Bell Surety, according to Google. Okay. Yeah, yeah. Is a YSL RICO case strong? Um, I don't think it was. I'm actually read y'all email I got about the YSL case. I just didn't want to. I might do a separate video on it. Let me pull it up because as you know, a lot of people. Let me see if I could find it. All right, I won't name the person in the email, right? But this is an email I got of the YSL thing, and I was like, I might, I might, I might touch on this one. I got to see what the team say first. I'm definitely not covering that trial. That trial long as shit. I ain't about to sit here with y'all. I love y'all, but y'all know I ain't trying to sit through too many live things. I'd rather wait till it's over and talk about it or piece by piece. But I'm enjoying your channel. I passed cross in law school. Uh, and it says, listen, I feel the prosecution and the YSL trial aren't being fairly critiqued. Black women, particularly prosecutors in the courtroom, have to deal with all kinds of BS. People criticize clothing, speech, all kinds of stuff. It's not fair. Watch out for the angry black woman. That's a classic dog whistle. I'm curious of your thoughts on their performance. That's I don't know. I might get into the YSL thing, but I'm gonna be honest. From what I've seen of looking at the trial and just kind of reading it, and you know, I think that I don't know. I feel like that case is kind of falling apart, and I think the problem started with their star witness, who essentially got on the stand at one point and said, "I'll say whatever you all need me to say, so that I'll say whatever you all need me to say, so I don't have to go to jail." Like, hey, bro, we just respect your honesty, but that's a terrible thing. That's an absolute horrible thing to have your star witness say. Um, so it's going to be interesting. But I haven't watched. I'll say with the YSL trial and the performance of the prosecutors, I haven't watched enough to critique them. I guess if I'm going to be objective, what I have seen from their cross examination and direct, I would probably say in the short snippet that I observed, I was not impressed. It seemed like they asked questions that they did not know the answer to for their witnesses. And that's like a rule number one. You should never do that. But objectively, I don't think I have enough data to give them a fair critique. Just the small clips that I've seen, it didn't look great, but you got to think about it. When persons are Most people are only going to critique the bad stuff. How many times have you all went somewhere when the service is bad, you go on Google and Yelp and write a bad review fast as hell. But when the service is great, you be like, man, that service was great. And most people don't. So normally what you're getting is the worst of the worst. So I've probably seen in a short snippet the worst of the worst with regard to that. Yeah, yeah. Let's see what else we got. Yeah. I remember you mentioned this case will lead to an arrest. Let's see how the rest will play out. Yeah, this case gonna lead to an arrest and a conviction. Okay. Hey, innocent to proven guilty, but you got the video footage out there that they've already seized and had, right? That's point number one. So that thumbprint and video footage that you like because you just like watching it, or you like holding people in compromising position, whatever reason you kept the video footage, they have it now. That's point number one. Point number two is Diddy has absolute zero credibility. And I talked about this before. The reason he has no credibility is because we all know that he's a liar. We all know he's a liar from the release of the Cassie tape. Now, the discussion was who released the tape? Was it the hotel that was out of business, or somebody ran out of money because he paid them off? I know who released the tapes. I think everybody knows common sense. Who released the tapes? The feds released the tape. You know how I know the feds released the tape? Because it was probably some old white guy at a U.S. attorney's office who said, let's release this tape. And one, I know the feds released the tape because they released the tape to like CNN, which is wild. CNN never breaks stories like this. The people who break stories like this is TMZ. So the fact that CNN broke the release of that Cassie footage, it goes to me to show that that was somebody who was old and out of the loop, because normally TMZ gets those stories, right? So I'm suspecting that, like if I was an older white guy, wasn't really hip, I'm like, oh, let's send this to Fox and CNN. That's the first place. Like, no. So I'm thinking that it was probably an older person who sent it to like CNN or Bloomberg. It was some really structured media outlet who got it, which is a flag that it probably was an older person who released this, in my personal opinion. But the other reason I think that the feds released it is because essentially they've tainted the jury pool for any trial that Diddy will ever have for the rest of his life. So now that the feds indict him, the feds like, yo, we just indicted him on these federal charges, whether they're racketeering charges, whether they're trafficking charges, whatever they are. They've indicted him on this. Now every juror, literally, that could potentially sit on that bench know that Cassie filed a lawsuit. Diddy said the allegations were false. He settled it, but said that hey, settlement isn't proof of guilt, and he denied ever abusing and being that guy. Then the video came out showing that he's an actual liar. So it actually it I would have released it. If I were the prosecutor and I had the tape, I was like, oh, let's release this. We're gonna release it. If he gets on the stand and testify, nobody's gonna believe him. So he has no credibility. It taints the jury pool because as quiet as it kept, a man who would drag a woman down the hallway and do all of that monstrous stuff that we saw, you don't really give a shit what he has to say. He can sit on the stand crying, tell a story that makes sense. You're gonna be like, nah, bruh, I don't believe the crocodile tears you got. So I think that the feds released that footage. I think it's footage that they had. How they obtained it, I don't know, but I think that they were the ones who released it and released it strategically. Let's see. Yeah. Let's see what else we got here. He said the Combs 54 has been cooperative with the investigation and voluntarily relocated to New York. Yep. So they gave him a heads up. Somebody like Diddy, you're gonna give him a heads up. Generally, and it's not like he's a proven dangerous criminal. I ain't gonna say he's not dangerous, allegedly, but it's not like he's a proven dangerous criminal. This is wild. He lost 100 million to a dude in jail. Now he got arrested. Yeah, he not gonna pay that 100 mil though. I talked about that in a mashup video, Wolverine, but he not gonna pay that 100 mil. It was all sorts of bogus stuff in that we went through. Yeah. Yeah, Diddy lawyers believe he's being charged for racketeering and sex trafficking. Yep, that's probably what it is. The power of humiliation over the victim. Yeah. TMZ reports the arrest was scheduled for Tuesday, but something happened that caused the feds to arrest him today. Yep, that's what I saw. And the only thing that could have happened was they probably got some cause to pause that they were going to lose their target. That's the only thing. Like, there's nothing else that could happen that would make me like, oh man, let's go ahead and do it now. Unless I was in jeopardy or some fear that I was going to lose my target. Like, you like, you seen a lot of money go from account A to account B or something like that. I'm sorry, like I know y'all like I don't want to see nobody on here to see you drink water. Drink your flavored water. No worries. The indictment is sealed. The charges were not announced. Yeah, that's what it is. It's sex trafficking. We already know when you like to have those freak offs that he talked about. Yeah, and that could be a good point too. Like I could have strategically said, yeah, we're gonna do it tomorrow. But then behind closed doors, I'm like, nah, let's go pick this dude up today because I don't know. You know what I mean? So that's definitely a possibility. Hey, I appreciate y'all. Y'all make sure y'all hit the like button as we in here talking about this dude. Not the Diddy bops not being canceled. I went to some restaurant. I can't remember what it was. I went to some restaurant. They had a drink named after him, and I was like, "Oh man, y'all might want to change that." Yeah, you separate the art from the artist. That's with everything. So like, I'm telling you right now, I can't get in my car and turn on any music and not hear something from Bad Boy within the first three tracks. Like one, my car's like a time machine, so when you get in it, you automatically going back to a time frame probably between 95 and 2005. So you're probably going back to a 10-year period, and it's just inevitable. So you separate the art from the artist the same way we look at everybody. Hey, politicians do great things, they do terrible things. You separate. Let's see. Reality is there are innocent people making royalties from their contributions too. They are victims too because of cancellation. Yep, I agree. I agree. In 2024, Diddy can be canceled. This ain't the 90s. He can be, I think he's already effectively canceled. Like, I don't think he's getting any new business ever since all these allegations. I don't think, like, when I say canceled, like, economically, he's fucked. Economically, he's screwed. And I'm going to be honest, I did a video on this before too. I don't know if it was a short or what, but it was I knew he was going to lose his billionaire status, but what percentage of it do we think he? Because this litigation is about the $1 billion net worth is a lot, is a shitload, but that's his net worth. Now we're talking about actual how much actual cash you have on hand to defend your litigation and how many assets you have that you can sell to pay for your defense of this litigation. Now, let's keep in mind if you have to, what's up? You good? Let's keep in mind if you have to sell your assets to be able to pay for your litigation. I wish if I know you're in dire straits and you need to sell your assets because you need the money to try to keep from going to the pokey, like, yo, I'm not paying full price. I already know, like, nah, you're gonna get what I'm gonna offer you, or you cannot take it. Good luck trying to pay your lawyers with a Harley, something like that. So, but yeah, I think he can. I think he can economically. He's already canceled. I think as far as his artistic endeavors, I don't think it's possible. Yeah, I agree. That's a good statement. I agree with that point 100%. The YSL case is messed up. Nobody knows what it's about. I'm very confused about it. Why is there no ball or YSL group? These cases seem like they would never. I feel like that trial been going on for like 3 months. Like, I mean, like I generally know what it's about, but it's just too damn long. Yeah, it's too damn long for me to even be vested. Bubba didn't have contact for TMZ. Yeah. He probably about to fly out of a plane loads of minors for their buyers. Hey, I told you that was what the remember I did the video on the former cartel associate who sued Diddy, even though that case got thrown out. It was exactly about the allegations in that were exactly what you were talking about, Lisa, in that particular case. Oh, 11:30 a.m. press conference. I don't know. We might have to watch that press conference live. Like a press conference, I ain't gonna know that might be fire to watch live. Like, ew. I might have to do that press conference live. 11:30, I might have to take an early lunch. 11:30 a.m. take an early lunch so we could do that one live. I don't know. That might be a good call. Y'all let me know if that's something y'all want to see. They're Puffy by an island. He probably got an island somewhere. Most people like to have most criminals who got money, they like to have a secluded place that they would like to be able to get away with their illegal activities. Yeah. Mm. Now, hey, that's a fair point because hey, when you at a Diddy level, a billionaire level, and I mean, just think about who's attending his party. The people who are attending his party are somebodies. They are people with resources. Uh, that sounds creep as hell, Buffland. That sounds terrible. But the people who are attending his parties, just think of all the celebrities we've seen. Like, I mean, like it is funny because all the celebrities now, they like, hey, I left early. Everybody ain't leave early. Like, come on now. Like, all y'all are saying now that didn't happen when I was there. Like, come on now. We've seen we've seen hip hop elites, we've seen actors, we've seen people in politics, we see we've seen people of the cloth, TD Jakes. We've seen all of these people kind of interact with Diddy at events with Diddy. Like, I don't know, like, and I'm not saying if we talk about the Epstein thing, like, hey, Epstein had that list. I don't know whose name was on that list, even though some of the names got released. We don't know who names was on that list, but hey, I don't know. Is hey, Epstein ended up being out of there. So if there's a chance, there is always a possibility that I don't want to sound like a conspiracy guy, but we got to keep it real with what we know. If you're a criminal who's being indicted federally, and it's a possibility that you have information, especially video and audio footage, that could be damaging to other people in power. Whew, I don't know. Everything is up for play here. Like, is I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, if they could get to Jeffrey Epstein, who had a shitload of money, anybody could be got in custody. But allegedly he didn't get got. Those are just uh, 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 urban legends that he allegedly he didn't got he got himself, but I don't know. From what I understood before the investigation, his party were exclusive invitations. Why? Uh, reason existed. Yeah, I mean, yeah, if you got an exclusive invitation because you only trying to invite a certain person. Someone said TD gave his statement. Wonder who else. Oh God, I don't even know if he get. Now I'm about to Google that. There, I gotta. If he gave a statement, let's see. That's wild. If he gave a statement, let me see. Let's see. Nah, nah, I don't see that. I don't see that. This is hilarious though. When I Google like TD Jakes and Diddy, one of the first things it says not Mister Swallowed Up. They ain't gonna never let TD Jakes live that down. If y'all find a link to whatever his statement allegedly or purportedly was, let me know. I don't want to see that video. There's been bad enough. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I'm late, but did you mention how Epstein folks were in weird situations? The former president and Diddy today. Yeah, hey, Epstein had like Clinton and all sorts of. When they looked at that manifest for that jet going out there, it was a because you gotta think about it. Think about like if I'm a billionaire creep, right? Let's just assume I'm a billionaire who engage in illegal activities. One thing that all wealthy people do is donate politically because you want to be able to have a little bit of influence. You want to be able to have a little bit of pull. And I wouldn't want to just donate to what Republicans if I was Republican. Now, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna donate to both sides. I want to have my thumb on both of y'all just in case something go down. So yeah, most likely the higher up said they stopped by. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, yeah, he was yeah, hey, Trump had a wild statement about Epstein. He said something like he likes them young or something crazy like that. And I was like, "Uh," but hey, yeah, if without a shadow of doubt, if Diddy had his whole house filmed up so to surveil people with or without their consent, if you've been to a Diddy party and you've done anything, I don't care if like someone snorted a line off of a midget stripper's ass. If they got that on tape, the feds got it now, and it's fair game. And I'm gonna just be honest, like if it were me, what would you do as a prosecutor with a tape of, let's say, I didn't even know he was in here. What would you do as a prosecutor with a tape of a well-known celebrity at a party who's caught in a compromising position? Let's say they were caught with someone underage or doing an illegal drug. You got all like, yo, I got you on tape. Example, allegations. These are allegations, but I got you on tape, Mr. Cuba Gooding Jr. And if you don't tell us what was going on, we're going to charge you with whatever we can find that you did wrong and all of this 55 terabytes of parties that have been recorded. Man, those people going to start telling so goddamn fast. They all party with Epstein and Diddy. Epstein, Diddy, Vince McMahon. Terrible. Yeah, let's see. That portrait of Clinton in a dress is hilarious. My cousin said he's a very nice looking man in person. It's funny that that portrait was actually wild. Why do you all think Epstein had that portrait in his house? Why do you think that? What does that portrait? That's a weird ass portrait to have. Why do you all think Jeffrey Epstein had a portrait of Bill Clinton's head on a woman's body, hung obviously in his house? Closest I got to a celebrity party where there's a random 3AA wrong phone number call where the drummer invited me to an Aussie after concert party because I sounded cute. That's hey, you should have went. Like you should have went to see how it was. You should have went. Yeah. Who is Donna Richard concerning PD? She is a member of Danity Kane when Diddy was doing that making the band or something like that, and she was a member of the female girl group Danity Kane. Yeah. I know I had a family member. I don't know. Do y'all remember when Diddy had that show Making His Band? He did Making the Band when he was looking for he did Making the Band when he was looking for like the rappers, and then he did another one where he was looking for the female group Danity Kane, and he did another one called Making His Band where he was looking like for band members. And I have an in-law who was actually on that show as like the drummer, and he was like, "Nah, man, I voluntarily walked off." He's like, they told him off the break, like, "Oh, you're gonna make the finals because you nice." Because this dude drummed. He was a drummer for. I'm talking about like big time rock superstar. So this dude was nice, and then he was like, they told him like, "Oh, you're gonna make it to the finals because you nice, so don't worry about it." But he was like, "Nah, I voluntarily left off the show because they were doing some weird shit." But yeah, that's who Donna Richards is. Donna Richard was a member of Danity Kane who was signed to Diddy's label, and she was in I think it was Making the Band 2 or something like that. But she was on one of those reality shows that Diddy found a girl group and they put out an album or something like that. Trump is the one that turned everyone around him. So that, yep, well, I don't know. Trump is the one that turned everyone around him onto that white. Nah, people, that's just what celebrities do. People with money just, they like the booger sugar, or sugar booger, or whatever it's called. That's just, I don't know if that's just the thing that celebrities do. Attorneys got like a high rate of drug usage and depression because people have like people with like stressful jobs. People with stressful jobs that pay a lot of money normally have a lot of substance abuse. Clinton freaky possibly. Now, see, I don't think that picture. I'm. It would be one thing if Jeffrey Epstein has a picture, a photo of Clinton just displayed for all to see as soon as you come in with Clinton head on a woman body. If I got a picture like that, this is just me. I can't speak for Epstein's thought behind it, but if I put a picture of somebody powerful, a guy on a woman's body, and hung it up in my house, for to me, I think that's a way of saying that you're my bitch. Part my language. That's how I take it. I I have so much control over you or something that I could leverage against you. Where this is how I view you. I view you as a powerful person, but at the end of the day, maybe that's just me kind of. I'm thinking from more of a like if I came to somebody's house and they had my head on Megan the Stallion's body on a photo, I would be like, "You trying to say I'm soft? Like you what? You think I'm your like no, you think I'm your property?" That's how I would take it. That's the only logic. Maybe it's just the guy in me talking. I don't know. I don't think it has anything to do with Clinton's potential proclivities. I think that photo is Jeffrey Epstein's way of saying that anytime you come to this house or anybody come to this house, they gonna know I got you, bro. I got you. Whatever it is I'm holding over your head, whatever it may be, I got you. That's my personal opinion because I think that's a wild ass. I think that's a wild ass photo to have of a grown ass man, especially a president. Yeah. Also looking for an assistant Farnsworth job. Yeah, that's who I'm interested in. Cause like, hey, Farnsworth Bentley, he gotta know some stuff. Like, yeah, like Farnsworth Bentley gotta know some stuff. I actually saw an interview. I didn't watch all of it, but Farnsworth actually had an interview that he did, and they kind of asked him that. Yeah. Let's see. In the words of O'Shea Dukes Jackson. Yeah, but that's wild for a grown ass man to have that picture up. But I don't know. This is where we are with Diddy. Y'all let me know in the comments if y'all want me to do a live stream of the press conference tomorrow that's going to be at 11:30 a.m. I think that would be dope because most press conferences aren't long. So YSL trial, I love y'all, but I refuse to. I'm never sitting on for 3 hours just listening to attorneys ask questions and witnesses fumble and stumble through. cross examinations, I can't do it. But press conference is probably gonna be 30 minutes at the most. Hey, let me know. I might take an early lunch break and we sit through that and kind of see what's going on with that press conference. Farnsworth also did therapy after leaving the diddler. Like, yo, I don't know, man. It ain't like I don't know, man. It ain't that much money in the world. Like, there's no way you're gonna be like, you know what? Like, yeah, let me forget all of my morals and principles that I stand on just because this dude is like a powerful person. Like, forget all that. It's like, nah. Like, I don't care. Maybe it's just me, but nah. Like, even like with the accusation of Kids Cudi, is an accusation. We're not saying Diddy did it, but we do know that Kids Cudi's car did blow up in his driveway. I don't care who you are. You got enough power. You ain't gonna threaten me, right? You ain't gonna threaten me. Like, all right, we all about to die here. Nah, I don't know. Maybe that's just me. But I get it. As an imbalance of power, he has access. He probably got security. But nah. I don't know. I'm going out. Nah. Before you think you're gonna take advantage of me, DFD gonna have to go out to blaze of glory. I'm sorry. Yeah, I appreciate everybody in hitting up the likes and everything. But hey, let me know. Like, just put like a a Y or an N in the comments if y'all want me to live stream the press conference tomorrow. Because I'm probably gonna watch it because I want to know what the charges are. But I'm definitely gonna watch it. I know I need to make some new moderators in here. I need some new hardcore moderators. So I'm telling y'all now, some of y'all in the chat, I'm gonna go through and y'all gonna have a wrench by y'all name the next live that we do. Um, Man, I had a good video that I was gonna put out. I was actually working on when I got this thing, but yo, that's it. I just wanted to jump on here and give my initial reactions to Diddy being arrested. I think we all saw this coming. So, hey, I felt like I said that before the end of the year, too. I felt like before the end of the year is what I said, if I'm not mistaken. But you got to think about it. Once search warrants are being done, you're pretty much screwed because I've I'm not a judge. Let me say that for somebody going to comments, but I've been in charge of an investigative unit where we have to develop the plan. How are we going to do this search warrant? What time of day? Where are we positioning people at? And I was the person who had to sign off saying, okay, I rock with this plan. Y'all did a good job. Go out there and do work. I've never I've never personally had anything to do with a search warrant where if a search warrant was done, before the search warrant was done, at a minimum, we probably were looking at that target for at least a year. I feel like anytime I sign a search warrant, we've been watching and investigating for at least a year. At least that's at least. It could be longer. So once a search warrant comes, you already know, like, yo, they've been if search warrant come, that mean they've been watching you for at least 12 months. Yeah. Combs has made us way too many enemies over the last 25 years. And you can't just be a dick to people. Like, I mean, come on now. You think there's a certain entitlement and privilege that comes with having that much money, and essentially it comes back to bite you in the ass. Even when we talked about I did the video about Tyreek Hill's arrest, and I see the whys. I appreciate y'all. So we gonna definitely do that tomorrow. But is one of the things where another attorney that I know who's been in the game same amount of time as me. I was like, hey, what is your take on the Tyreek Hill thing? Did you think the officers went too far? And their very first comment was, I mean, the officers, everybody overreacted a little bit, but Tyreek Hill initiated the situation because he conducted himself like a privileged elitist, and he's not a privileged elitist. And I think with money, with fame, with wealth, there's a certain mentality of I can't be touched for things that I do. People know me, know who I am. I'm generally going to get the benefit of the doubt. And that's not always the case. So, it is what it is. That's one down for Diddy before the end of the year. The other one that's going to happen before the end of the year is the Super Mayor. Mark my word. I'm going to be 2 for 2. I'm going to be 2 for 2. And I'm going to go out on the limb and say that Young Thug is going to beat this YSL thing just with the limited information that I got. I think he's going to I think he's going to beat the RICO charge. He may get something smaller, but I don't know. I feel like the way that trial is going is not leaning favorable for the prosecution. Yo, that's it. Diddy's arrested in New York. It looks like he was released on bond from what I'm getting from the family members in the comment. All of my peoples and the intellectual savages telling me looks like he was released on bond. I guarantee you that bond is going to have some type of condition to make sure his ass stay put. He may be able to travel, but he's probably going to have to get approval from the court or some type of probation officer or something. And tomorrow we're going to do the press conference live. I'm going to actually, if it's at 11:30, I'm going to go ahead and set that video up now so we can have everything set up to do that live. And we'll see what it is. We'll see what it is, what's going on. And the minute that indictment is unsealed, I'm going to pull up that indictment and we're going to go through it in detail to see what the facts and the allegations are. And we can see how screwed or not screwed Diddy is. I'm leaning more towards the screw side. Yo, I appreciate everybody for tuning in. I appreciate all the support. And yeah, definitely not no international travel. I appreciate all the support. And his son was stupid for making a diss song to authorities after they raided his house. That was when the Cassie footage got released. So I think that he kind of fueled the flames of that fire. They were going to release it anyway, but damn, his son, you could tell Diddy's a dick because that was a dick move on his son to do. Yeah. Let me see. Mm. I'm real when it comes to being a mod, like I'm real lenient. I let people rock. Like it's so many people who like literally I, when I did the live on the debate, everybody called me a Trump supporter. Then on the other hand, people called me a Harris supporter. People were just going back and forth. So I give moderators leverage because I'm generally not kicking anybody out of the chat unless you like are being disrespectful to others or something like that. That's the only time I want somebody gone. Outside of that, yo, y'all say what y'all want to say. I don't get too caught up. I actually like it that people say I'm a Trump supporter, then the other half of the people say that I'm a Harris supporter. That means I'm doing exactly what I need to do. That means I'm doing exactly what I need to do. And it's funny because my normal thing is I always say, hey, before you judge somebody politics, ask yourself what have you done for your country beside pay taxes? If the only thing you've done for your country is pay taxes, which is a big thing, I don't think you should be judging somebody who's done the things that I've done that I know my guy Wolverine and other people in the chat who are veterans have done. So, hey, people reserve the right to do what they want to do. But I'm not on moderators, I'm not too hard. It's simple. Like, like I guess I probably should set some guidelines, but like, yo, if somebody left a super chat, shout them out in the shout. Hey, can a moderator shout out somebody in the super chat? Little stuff like that. The main thing is somebody getting out of pocket here, being disrespectful, get them the hell up out of here. But I'm cool with everybody expressing their opinion. I don't care if someone calls me out on a topic or a position. That's what this whole shit is for. So, I'm really easy on stuff like that. You know what I mean? Oh, I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Yeah, yeah. I agree because I used to run chat rooms. I was clear the directives: don't troll, don't spam, be constructive and yeah. That's pretty much it. Like if it's like, hey, click on this link if you like brunettes. I'm like, yo, get them, get them up out of here. Don't nobody click on the link or something like, or reach out to Mr. Iki on WhatsApp. He's a crypto genius. Like shit like that. Got to get up out of here. So I definitely agree. Yeah, yeah. Hey, I appreciate y'all. I'm about to get out of here. Y'all be safe and be blessed. I'm gonna see y'all tomorrow, 11:30 a.m. Your boy gonna take an early lunch break because we're gonna see what's going on. And once that indictment becomes unsealed, I'm gonna pull it up and we'll probably talk about it tomorrow night. Y'all have a good one. Be safe. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Peace.